Putting this work together and making it work for you is about noticing your own energy and then following it and asking yourself how or why you're feeling the way you're feeling. If after work one day or just at any time in the day you suddenly feel contracted or you're feeling like you don't belong, you're disconnected or in some way unloving, ask yourself, well, what is it in my environment that has activated my personal lie? You know, if your personal lie is that you're not smart enough, then ask yourself, well, what's making me feel not smart here? And once you figure out what the trigger is, then you can ask yourself, you know, is it true? Right? I mean, we already know that the personal lie is a lie. It's a belief based on a lack of information, right? It was basically pulled out of thin air. And, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back to the beginning and watch the videos from the beginning, because we're on video 30 here and this workshop is going to be over before video 35. Like, I think we may only have 2 or 3 more to go. So start at the beginning to get what I'm talking about. When you recognize that what's being activated is your personal lie, just acknowledge it to yourself. Like, oh, you know, this is making me feel not good enough. And the feeling not good enough isn't real. The feeling may be, but the thought that it came from isn't real. And when you recognize that and recognize what in your environment is triggering that old feeling, you can simply acknowledge it and it'll go away. Your natural state is to be loving and to feel expansive and to be reaching out for new experiences and to be reaching out for change and growth. And if you are feeling the opposite of that, that simply means that the personal lie has been activated and you've fallen back on yourself and you're back in that fantasy of, well, whatever your personal lie is. That sensation, right? There's a specific feeling in your body when the personal lie is activated. And this training is designed for you to recognize that feeling. Because when you recognize the feeling and you know where it comes from, it can dissipate. And then you can be back to being yourself, which is loving, expansive, seeking growth, and seeking new opportunities to express yourself. It's that simple. This work, I call it a cascade. We talked on an earlier video about this pyramid, and I believe I drew it upside down, so we'll do that again. And this pyramid of trauma or of experiences that we refuse to feel in our past, it all gets the strength from this foundation stone of the personal lie. So if you get in a car accident, or somebody at work, convinces you that you don't do good work, or anything happens at all that you don't want to experience, it ties back to your personal lie. And events or people or suggestions or experiences that do not reflect back on your personal lie basically are just opportunities for growth. I mean, that's about as clear as this can be. The good news about understanding and following the cascade is that, whoopsie, it's because our experiences relate to each other in our minds. Our minds keep historical records, and our minds relate our experiences to one another. So every time you got in a car accident, those will all be related, and every time somebody broke up with you unexpectedly, those all get to be related. And these experiences, right, you were collecting as evidence to prove that you were not good enough, what happens is, if you recognize that this experience that happened recently is somehow tied to your most negative thought, you won't feel bad about this experience anymore. You'll just recognize, oh, it's just reactivating my personal lie, no big deal. And then the next one, and you do this to the next one, you can go through your entire history and unravel your entire history and free up a lot of space in your mind. The other way of doing it is what I call the cascade. And that's when, if you're feeling bad about something, because, you know, say you got fired at work, instead of processing this recent firing that's making you, or that's reactivating your personal lie, look for a previous experience of being fired, right? And you might realize, wow, I got thrown off the kickball team in 3rd grade. That might have been your first experience of being fired. And when you recognize that that experience proved to you that you weren't good enough, or proved to you that you weren't wanted, and that that understanding of the experience was based on a lie, not only do you release any energy you've gotten stuck on that experience in 3rd grade, but it washes out every related experience since then. I'll just repeat it in case it's not clear. If you find the earliest incident that's triggering your personal lie, it will also reclaim the energy of later experiences that were the same. So experiences of being fired, or being broken up with, or of crashing your car, or anything that happened that made you feel, you know, less than who you are, look for the earlier one. And when you do, right, you maintain your breath and you recognize where it comes from. And once you recognize that it's coming from your personal lie, your inner wisdom will recognize the truth, and you'll get to reclaim all of this stuck energy. So that is the cascade. When you feel bad, when you feel less, when you feel constricted, or you just are mad, look for where it comes from. Look for what in your environment is making you feel your personal lie, and then walk it back in your mind to the personal lie and let it go. Recognize what it is. That's video number 30. And if you have any questions, send them in. We're almost done. And I honor you for paying attention to me this far. But there's just a couple videos left, and they're critical, they're key for getting the information, so stick around. Thank you.